Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, senior one learners out there? I hope you are doing well. We are still proceeding with our online lessons, and the subject is still geography. The chapter that we are looking at is that chapter that concerns the different ways through which one may study or learn geography. To remind you, we have looked at the first ways how a learner may get geography, how you may find out geographical information. We looked at one, that you may analyze statistical data. That data may be given to you in the form of a table. Then out of the table, you can generate a lot. I want you to refer to the example that we did look at. From the table, we are able to draw a bar graph, and I remember telling you to even try out the pie chart. That was our source one. Our source two, we looked at getting geographical information by looking at extracts, written information, which may be presented in a textbook, it may be presented in a magazine, it may be a journal. The previous lesson that we conducted, we looked at an extract. It was about tourism. Then we generated a lot from that extract. Then three, it was about looking at photographs. You study a photograph, then you interpret what the photograph is all about. Today, we want to still proceed with photographs. We have come up with a sample photograph, and we are going to see how we can generate geographical knowledge, how we can study geography by use of photographs. So the photograph is right there. The photograph is right there. The good thing is it is even a colored photograph. Everything is very clear. Is very clear. We want to start. We are saying that study figure 4.1 and do the activities that follow. Study figure 4.1 and do the activities that follow. So there is our photograph. We are considering the one that is in the middle. The yellow stuff is not part of the photograph. We are looking at the actual photograph. Yellow is just a boundary, but we are considering the photograph in the middle. Now, we are going to have these three tasks, and you are going to note in your notebook as usual. In your notebook, I want you to write down the natural and human features that you are able to see in the photograph. Natural and human features that are seen in the photograph. Natural features, we can recall together. We are looking at those God-given features, those that are existing by their own. Me, man, you have no. You didn't put them in existence, but they are just God-given. They are existing naturally. So you look at the photograph, then you look at those natural, write them down, look for those human features, also note them down as well. Then task 2, we shall explain how any two human features, how these have influenced how they are being influenced by the natural, environment, how they are being influenced by the natural environment. Then 3, the task is that in what ways do you think human activities might affect? In what ways do you think human activities might affect the natural environment? Take a look at the photograph. Take a look at the photograph, then we'll proceed very well. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for task 1. 2 minutes for task 1. Then we see, we are looking at the photograph. 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 Have you seen the features? The features. Hope you are noting them down as well. You are looking at the photograph. We are left with very few seconds. Then I also give you what I have seen. Then you check with what you have noted down. Now we are going to check what you have also put down. We are going to check what you have put down. Among the natural features, we are able to see a mountain. Maybe some of you have put a hill. You also near the answer, but a hill is a little smaller. This was a highland that we are calling a mountain. So either mountain or a highland. Either a mountain or a high land. The background of the photograph was showing a highland. This side, if I am to draw a sketch, this side there was a mountainous area. Even this side, a mountainous area and another mountainous area. So this was our mountain. You may call it a highland. Then, in the middle of the photograph, there were some rocks. I'm sure other learners have used another word. Rocks, big stones. You are near the answer. Rocks, big stones. Or you may have put, for example, boulders. Either boulders or rocks. We are going to look at the photograph. Are you able to see those big stones? Yes, those are our rocks or our boulders. Then the other physical feature on the photograph is the valley. Other members may have written, for example, depression, but the best word is valley. When you look at those highland areas in the background of the photograph, there is where they come together. In the middle. The right hand side of the photograph, left hand side has highlands, but where those two meet, we have a valley. That is another physical feature that we have identified from the photograph. Then we also have the green color. That green color is indicating, or it is showing the trees. Others have written grass. Trees, grass, good. The trees, the grass, they give us what we call vegetation. So that green color, that total plant cover of the trees, the total plant cover of the grass that we have seen in the photograph, that is our vegetation. So those happen to be our four natural features that we have seen from the photograph. Let us go to the human features. Human features. If you look at the photograph, check what you have presented, what you have written down. Good. Many of you have begun with the railway line. Others have written rail. You are still right. Rail. Others have written railway. In fact, the human feature is either railway or railway line. Those who have written rail, it is not clear enough. It is railway line or railway. Then look at the photograph still once again. The photograph. When you look at that photograph, are you able to see the gardens? The gardens are a little hidden, but they are on the gentle slopes. That mountainous or highland area on the right hand side of the photograph. Part of that is indicating the gardens. Those are crops being grown there. Gardens. Good. Then 3, the other human feature that we can see there happens to be settlements. We are seeing some houses. You may call it shelter. It may be buildings. Those ones indicate that we have some settlements taking place there. Then lastly, we also have some local quarrying, where we have mountainous areas. We have a lot of stones being broken down into smaller particles, into smaller aggregates. And these small rocks are thereafter taken either for construction of houses, they are taken for making of the culverts, they are taken for construction of transport networks like roads, etc. That act of getting the stones, extracting them from underground, then you break them into sizable pieces that you want to use thereafter. That is what we call local quarry. It is also another human aspect that we have seen. It is also another that we have seen. A quarry. I don't want to say rock quarry, but a quarry. So those happen to be our human features. We have the settlement, we have the gardens, we have a quarry. I have said a quarry is a place where rocks are broken down into smaller pieces and thereafter taken for use either in construction or coming up with culverts. Then we also have a railway line. Then we have some houses. They give us settlement. Good. Hope we have identified the natural features and the human features. Aspect 2 was about explaining how any two human features are influenced by the natural environment. Explaining how any two human features are influenced by the natural environment. Any two human features. Explain how any two human features are influenced by the environment. Explain how any two human features are influenced by the environment. Let us identify any two human features. We saw, for example, one was settlement, then the other was, for example, the railway line. Those we saw. Then 3, it is the quarry, and the activity was quarrying. So they want us to explain how any two human features are influenced by the natural environment. Natural environment, we saw our mountainous area, the highland area. Physical features or natural features, we saw the valley, we saw even the vegetation. Now, they want us to explain how any two human features, how they have been influenced by the natural environment. Let us begin with the settlement. Let us begin with settlement. Settlement. We are able to see that settlements are found in, is it in the highland area? No. Settlements are found in the low-lying area. They are found in the low-lying area. Why? Because of the ease with which one can construct, for example, houses. These settlements or the houses, they are found in the low-lying area. You may say they are found in the gentle areas. They are found in the flat areas. Why? Because it is very easy to construct houses, to put up a shelter in a low-lying area. Low-lying areas do not have a soil erosion. They do not have a lot of big stones that you have to remove to put down or to put up the structure. So settlements are found in the low-lying area or in the flatland area because it is easy to construct houses there. Another one may say settlements are found in the low-lying area. Why? Because low-lying areas are not heavily affected by soil erosion. Mountainous areas are the ones that have a lot of soil erosion, but gentle slopes, they have low cases of soil erosion. So we have now given the relationship. We have shown how a human activity is being influenced by the natural environment. We have seen that the gentle slopes, the flat areas, the low-lying areas have attracted settlements. They have brought settlements. The flat areas have made man be able to put up houses. Then two, we go to a second human feature, and that human feature is none other than the railway line. The railway line is also found in a flat area because it's cheap to construct it there. The railway line is found in a flat area because it is cheap to construct it there. Yes? Then 3, the quarry. Quarry. We saw that place in the mountainous area where they were breaking the stones. The quarry or quarry is in the highland area. Quarrying is in the highland area. Highland area, or quarrying is in the steep slopes. Quarrying is on the steep slopes. Quarrying is on the steep slope. Quarrying is on the steep slope. On the steep slopes. The stones that will break, they are mainly in the mountainous area. So we are saying that quarrying is on the steep slopes. Quarrying is on the steep slopes. Good. We can still proceed with our another one has seen agriculture. We can also bring out that other agriculture or crop cultivation. Remember, on our human features, we saw crop cultivation where it was on the gentle slopes. So here we still say that crop cultivation is on the gentle slopes. It is on the gentle slopes. Now we have given how human features are being influenced by the natural environment. We are connecting the physical to the human features. How has, for example, how has settlement been affected? How has it been influenced by the physical environment? We have seen that settlements are formed where? In the flatland areas, because it is easy to put up houses there. A rail line is formed in the flatland area because it is cheap to construct the rail line there. Quarrying is on the steep slopes where rocks are. Then lastly, crop cultivation is on the gentle slopes because of the limited occurrence of soil erosion there. Then lastly, the task was, in what ways do you think human activities might affect the natural environment? In what ways do you think human activities might affect the natural environment? In what ways do you think the human activities may affect the natural environment? Human activities, we have seen, for example, agriculture. Human activities, we have seen, for example, quarrying. So in what ways do you think the human activities may affect the natural environment? Let us take a quick look on agriculture. How can agriculture affect the natural environment? The growing of crops. The growing of crops on the gentle slopes may lead to soil exhaustion. may lead to soil exhaustion. The continuous cultivation of the crops may make the soils less productive. They lose the fertility. Then they begin giving us low yields. Then still too, the growing of the crops may result into destruction of the vegetation cover. They may destroy the vegetation cover. One may say, how? If I want to expand, for example, my size of the farmland, I'm going to clear the vegetation, I cut the trees, and after cutting the trees, I plant the crops. Are you seeing that I'm destroying the vegetation cover because I want to plant crops? I want to expand on the size of my farmland. Agriculture may destroy the vegetation cover. Finally, we can look at quarrying, the breaking of the rocks. How may it affect the natural environment? How? When you break the rocks, you are now weakening the rocks. And in the process of weakening the rocks, you even create potholes where you extract, where you remove the big rock, you leave there a hole, and this hole may be a breeding place for the disease-causing vectors. Take an example of the mosquitoes and the snails. And these transmit, for example, malaria. If they happen to be the mosquitoes, they cause malaria. And if they happen to be the snails, then they also cause bilharzia. So these human activities like agriculture, like quarrying, much as they happen to be good, they may affect the environment in a number of ways, like we have seen. Agriculture leads to destruction of the vegetation cover. I want to thank you so much. We shall begin from where we have stopped. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.